You may be seated. It's so good to see you in the house today. I want to continue my message from last week on addictions, and we'll see how far we get. Romans chapter 7, verse 15, and then 19 through 20, of course, is written by the Apostle Paul. Paul wrote 2/3 of the New Testament, and Paul, this is a great description of an addict, where he says, for verse 15, for what I am doing I do not understand. For I'm not practicing what I would like to do, but I'm doing the very thing I hate. Verse 19, for the good that I want to do I do not, but I practice the very evil that I do not want. I just want you to notice, and I'll come back to this in about 29 minutes. Look at all the words in these three verses with personal pronouns. That's a big deal. And I'll come back to it, maybe you will recall this. But verse 20, while I am doing the very thing that I do not want to do, I am no longer the one doing it, it is sin which dwells in me. So we see that's a good description of an addict, of an addiction. And my definition of addiction is any behavior that you have difficulty controlling, that you continue to do despite negative consequences. That's the key. This is doing me harm. It's messing me up. It's causing me problem. It's very negative. But guess what? I'm still doing it. That's pretty tight. That's strong. It's destroying my life. Well, have you quit doing it? No. Still doing it. We're addicted. Now, what the world calls addiction, the Bible calls stronghold. So just know that. That'll be next week. There are many forms of addiction, of course. Now, when you hear addiction, the first thing to think about is, well, they're addicted to drugs. There's alcohol. And so, I'm off the hook, man, because I'm not addicted to drugs, and I'm not addicted to alcohol. And so, this sermon is good for the person beside me, but it's not good for me by no means. But when it comes to addiction, it means a whole lot of things. And I can list 50 things: drugs, jealousy, food, alcohol, porn, worry, fits of rage, smoking, social media. Well, there's a lot of addictions. The thing about addiction is this: the addiction's not the problem. It's just something that's showing a bigger disease that we can't see. That's really quite an amazing thought. What I just told you, alcohol is not the problem. Wow, you have lost your mind. Drugs is not the problem. Now you hear that, but you've never been told that. There's no way. Here's something else about addictive behavior. The addiction is not the issue. Yes, that's what's going on, and it's really resulting because we see the outside of your life, and you're destroying your life. But the reason is, why are you being an alcoholic? Why are you doing drugs? Why are you addicted to food? Why are you addicted to porn? Why are you addicted to this fits of rage? There's a reason that you're doing this stuff. Why are you addicted to spending? Why do you charge so much with your credit cards? There's a reason why you're doing all the habits that an addict does, and yet you do these things, and that's the result of what we see, but there's a reason behind the issue. That's why when you go to Alcoholics Anonymous, the first thing they tell you to do is fess up. We know you're an alcoholic. Why? You got to fess up. There's a reason you're doing this behavior that has really destroyed your life. So there's this pain in my life, and I don't know what the pain is. Maybe I'm doing drugs, maybe I'm doing alcohol, maybe I'm feeding myself too much because of shame, or because I'm bitter, or because someone has done me wrong, or I don't know, words, or I lost a job, or I don't feel good about myself, and so I got to do this stuff to make myself feel better. So this stuff, it props me up, and when I feel down, when I feel low, I don't know where to go. So I go to this addiction, I go to this problem, and it props me up. It helps me to escape the real world, and during this time, at least I have some peace for a few minutes. I know I'll be back in it again, but for a brief moment of time, I do have a little rest in my mind. And we go to, and we say, man, you're addicted. And we say, well, no, I'm really not. And as I said last week, denial was not a river in Egypt. We can't deny it. We know we have a problem. So when it comes to addiction of this also, the addicted person, myself included, we never reach the potential we're supposed to reach because we're spending all of our time feeding our addiction. So God's got great plans for us, but we don't accomplish those plans. And so the devil kind of wins out by forfeit because we haven't done what we were supposed to do, because we're spending up all of our time in our life feeding this addiction, so we don't really do what God's potential is for our life. And so I think we need changed hearts, not just changed behavior. And if you get a changed heart, you'll get changed behavior. But most of us, that's a shocker, most of us do not want change behavior. We just won't change situations. I mean, I don't want to change my diet, but I do want to be skinny. I don't want to work hard, but I do want a lot of money. What else is there? I don't want to work out, but I like to be in shape. So, we want this, but we're not willing to make the changes to get to our goal because we love what we're doing, this addiction. So I'm saying all of this to say this again, hear this out. I know it's shocking. Addiction is not the problem. And I know you're saying, well, Charles, this nation we live in, it is addicted. And yes, I know it is. But addiction is not the problem. There's a bigger disease behind this thing called addiction, a bigger symptom behind this disease that we have. I spoke in Kernersville Friday night, and they was wanting to know about, of all things, my stroke. So I said, sure, I'll go talk to you. And I told them I had a stroke, which y'all know. Here's what I said, my doctor told me, he said, even though my blood pressure was 275, that wasn't my problem. And they said, what kind of a doctor do you have? And I said, he's from West Virginia. What kind of doctor? Now, don't get me wrong, the blood pressure's high, okay? But there was a bigger issue. And he said, I mean, this. If you don't change your thinking, we can put you on the medication you want in your life. The medication won't help you. If you don't change the way you're thinking, you are going to destroy your life. Your problem is your thinking. Now, was my blood pressure 275 over 120? Yeah. But he told me plainly, your bigger problem is the way you think. He says, are you under stress? And I said, no. He said, are you a liar? And I said, no. He said, yes, you are. That's your other problem. You lie a lot. I was in, get this, denial. I mean, 275 or 120? How about this? When you're doing the addiction, you're doing the stuff. But I'm telling you, the addiction is not the problem. I'm going to let this stuff about, I'm taking another class. I think I'm going to take classes until I become 95 years old. And I'm taking a class now with health. Isn't that a great class? It lasts 9 months, 2 hours every Wednesday night. I'm learning about health. one day I too will be a doctor. Well, get this. They passed this out to us the other night. Contributing factors to premature death in America. 20% because of environmental factors. 10% you don't get access to care. 20% the old genes. You know what I mean? The old genes. You know, in my family, we're known for like, it's a bear. But the number one reason for a premature death is people don't want to change their lifestyle. 50%. I want to eat what I want to, but I want to be skinny. Oh, I know it's messing me up, but I still want to do it. And so there's 50% of why people die early in America. Oh, shit, watch that. Oh, I know I need to lose weight. Been trying to lose weight now for 50 years. Why haven't you lost it? I have lost weight, but I put it back on. You don't want to change, and you have a premature death. Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? Come on down, girl. All right. So addiction is not the problem. It's just a symptom of a bigger problem. And the reason we are addicted, drum roll, please. I like that. Better drum roll. Drum roll, please. The reason we are addicted is because of idolatry. Didn't expect that, did you? Idolatry. Let me define idolatry. Idolatry is the reason we're addicted. Idolatry is defined as anything that I've allowed to have a place of importance in my heart above God. That's idolatry. Now I submit to you this morning that anything that I have in my life that I cannot quit doing is something, now notice, something in my life that I cannot quit doing. Temper, pornography, lust, eating, worry, fear. Anything in my life that I cannot quit doing has become my idol. What do you think? I've got one person saying amen. It's become my idol, it's become my stronghold, it's become my addiction. And it has control over me. I mean, it controls every facet of my life. And so this idol, this idolatry, it defines me. It is me. I cannot do without it. It has become my God. And whatever is on the throne of your heart, you worship. And whatever you worship, you serve. And whatever you serve, you become a slave to. And there is only one today worthy of worship. There's only one today worthy of serving. There's only one today worthy of me being a slave to, and that's Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Amen. But see, that's not the way it is. Because I've allowed other things to have the place on my heart, and this addiction, be it drugs, be it alcohol, be it social media, you know the list. I have become, it has become an idol in my life. So you have scripture for that? That's what you ought to say. You got scripture for that? Duh. This is just the inside joke. Caleb, my son, does that sound so good? Come here, just can't get it turned around. I mean, you don't want to do this. Now listen, this is so, I'm trying to learn how to do this. So I'm going to say, I have scripture for this. When I say I have scripture for this, do yourself. Listen, do I have scripture for this? Love it, man. duh. His mom comes in the house, she says something, duh. Incredible. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Isaiah 44, verse 9 through 10. Look at this. How foolish are those who manufacture idols. To which we would reply, right? Manufacture idols, to which we would reply, what kind of an idiot would worship a cow? What kind of imbecile would worship a goat? What kind of dummy would worship a blue devil? It's preach, man. I'm telling you, boys, to preach. Let me get on this. See, we have a hard time identifying with this idol stuff because that can't be us. But then it says in verse 9, how foolish are those who manufacture idols. These prized objects are really worthless. The people who worship idols, really think of this, don't know it. They don't even know it. We're addicted and we don't know it. We don't know it. And they put us to shame. And so it puts us to shame and it makes us an addict. We don't. Verse 10. Who but a fool would make his own God an idol that cannot help him one bit? Now, between verse 11 and 14, I'm just going to tell you what happened. They got plants and trees. Fir trees, pine trees, he plants trees. Then in verse 15, then he uses part of the wood to make a fire. With it he warms himself and bakes his bread. Well, that's good. Verse 16, he burns part of the tree to roast his meat and to keep himself warm and says, that fire feels so good. Well, that's what trees are for. Trees are for what? Keeping me warm when it's cold. Not to cook me some hamburger. And let me get some stuff prepared. We don't. Then he takes what's left and makes his God. A carved idol. He falls down in front of it, worshiping and praying to it. Rescue me, he says, you are my God. So God has given us these things. He has given us things that are good. And if we use them for what they're intended for, it's fine. For example, he's given us food. Is food good? But what we do, our sinful nature, us, we take everything that God gives us good and we go overboard. So God has given us food, and what do? We consume too much. God has given us the chance to make money. And so is money bad? No. But money can become a God to us. The root of all, that's what it is, the love of money, and it becomes bad. So everything we have in our life, work is not bad. God wants us to work. Then for some of us, I'm here, we become workaholics. We don't know how to take a day off. We don't know how to relax. So work in itself is good, but there's always something in us that we take something that is good and we go too far with it. And it becomes our idol. Is social media good? Yeah. But did some of us take social media and we make it our God? Where's my iPhone? Gotta have a fix. Give me a fix. Gotta put something out and let me see how many likes I get. If I get more likes, I feel better about myself. Let me put a picture of myself. Like it. Yeah, put a Twitter out, whatever it's called, and like it. And now I'm basing my existence, my self-esteem, who I am. Oh, please like this. Is social media good? There's nothing wrong with it. But we take it and we make it overboard, which got to become us. We get so addicted to social media, we can't even go to bed without it. We go to bed. They all lay me down to sleep with my iPhone up there to keep. We go eat, and guess what we have beside us? Well, does anybody ever say this statement? I've lost my Bible. So we all said, hey, go see my phone. Have you seen my phone? Sports is good. Right? Look on sports. The Hills lost last night.
Amen.
Broke my heart. Went out last night, broke 10 Budweisers. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Yeah, that's all right. So sports is good. But you know what? If the loss that Carolina had last night bothers you a week from today, you got a problem. You little league parents. If it bothers you 2 days after a game, you got a problem. You really do. We're talking about a piece of leather that goes up and down the field, and you're addicted to it. It don't mean diddly squat. Does it? No. But your life is tied to that thing. You don't know it. It's good in its own way. You become addicted. What do you think, church? I mean, it's easy to jump on that alcoholic over there or jump on that drug addict. Yeah, I'm not like one of him. See, I thought something y'all like him here. Verse 18. Such stupidity and ignorance. Their eyes are closed, they cannot see. Their minds are shut, they cannot think. They're deceived. The most powerful weapon the devil has is deception. Why so deception? Why is deception so powerful? Because when you're deceived, you don't know it. Some of you are an idol to sports. You didn't see it till this morning. You've been an idol for years. You can't see it. This person, verse 19, he made the idol, never stops to reflect. Why, it's just a block of wood. Why, it's just a football. Why, it's just a sports event. It's no big deal. I mean, when we get to heaven, God's not going to say anything about your sporting events. Not one word. Not one word. But you think in the culture we live in, it's the biggest thing in the world. Now, is it bad? No! But the human nature takes something, be it food, be it work, be it sports, and we go too far. Verse 19, the person who made the idol never stops to reflect, why is it just a block of wood? I burned half of it to feed and just use it to bake my bread and roast my meat. How can the rest of it be God? Should I bow down to worship a piece of wood? Verse 20, the poor deluded fool feeds on ashes. He trusts something that can help him at all, yet he cannot bring himself to ask, is this an idol I hold in my hand? Stick with illustration. Get your cell phone out. Is this an idol I hold in my hand? Does it control me? Is it an idol? Well, how do I know if there's an idol in my life? It's simple. Just say, Holy Spirit of God, I pray right now. Is there anything in my life that consumes me? That's not you. Guilty. Y'all with me? Yes. Well, let's do some review, then I'll go back. From last week, just real quick, this won't take long. We have this stuff in our life, these addictions. When it comes to diets, there's myself included. We've been people in here, we've been on 80 diets in our life, and we still need to go on another diet. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to quit doing drugs. I'm going to quit shopping so much. I'm going to quit it. I'm going to quit worrying so much. I'm still doing it. I'm going to quit cutting myself. I'm going to cut myself a lot. I'm going to quit it. Man, I'm start cutting myself again. Jesus Christ has been sitting down with his disciples, and they've been doing real good. Real good. Well, they come across a case and they can't take care of it. There's a boy who's possessed by a demon. They can't cast it out. So they come to Jesus. Verse 14, Matthew. When they came to the crowd, a man came up to Jesus, falling on his knees before him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he's a lunatic. Would you say that about your kids sometimes? I'm a lunatic. He's very ill. For he is often falls into the fire and often into the water. I brought him to your disciples, but they couldn't cure him. Jesus answered in verse 17 and said, you unbelieving, perverted generation. Wow. Is that encouraging? But I couldn't do this, Jesus. You unbelieving, perverted generation. Unbelieving means I'm not connected enough to God. Perverted means I'm too connected to this world. Jesus says, you're unbelieving, you're not connected to me enough. You're perverted because you're too tied to this world. You love the things of this world, or you love your addictions. You tap more to your addictions than you are to me. So he cast the demon out, verse 18. Jesus rebuked him, and the demon came out of the man, the boy was cured. Verse 19, the disciples then came to Jesus privately. Again, I ask you, why did they come privately? They were ashamed. Man, I want to ask you this in front of people, Jesus, why couldn't we cast this thing out? Verse 20, he said to them, because of the littleness of your faith, for truly I say to you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Verse 21. But this kind does not go out by prayer and fasting. Remember last Sunday we started 60 days of prayer and fasting. Ends November 20th. And so I'm not telling you to fast every day. But here's what prayer and fasting does. Remember, he says you walk unbelieving, perverted generation. Unbelieving means you're not connected enough to me. Perverted means you're too connected to this world. So how do I solve that? By prayer and fasting. What does prayer do? Prayer connects me to God, and fasting what? Your idol. Maybe your idol is TV. Maybe your idol is social media. Maybe your idol is food. Maybe your idol, I don't know what it is, but you fast that, and it disconnects you from the world. So you connect to God. Listen, God made the universe. Don't you think he can set you free from your addiction? Amen. Well, why doesn't he? Because we're too connected to the things of this world. Does it make sense? You have to do some new stuff, and I'm done in 10 minutes. So we must do prayer and fasting. Now, I got a great question. Why is this so hard? Why is it so hard to pray? And it is hard to pray. Why is it so hard to fast? There are there are 12 spiritual disciplines. 12! I'm going to talk to you just about 2, prayer and fasting. There's 12 spiritual disciplines the early church did. 12! We don't even know them. I mean, we're so connected to this just very fascinated to them. Number one, the reason we don't think it's important, we think it's a waste of time. Charles, now listen, you've gone too far, buddy. Hear me out. I have been raised my whole life, maybe you, and I was told this by my mom. Boy, you better work hard, and you better stay busy. And if you're idle, don't you be idle. You be doing something, you be productive, you can find something to do. Listen, if you don't have anything to do, I heard this 1,000 times. Go outside and dig up rocks. Rock time. Because my mom taught me, you sit around the house, you don't lay around the house. Don't lay around. Lazy people lay around the house. Get your butt up and get to work. You. Where's a rock? So we're taught our whole life. You got to be productive. You got to be doing something. And what do? We do this thing called prayer. And what does prayer do? Prayer makes you sit down, and when you pray, you do nothing. So you pray for 1 minute. I'm done. Why? Because as you're praying, you think, here's what you think. I got to do this. I got to go see this person. I got to do there. I got to do this. I love you, God. I got to go. Right? And so we will pray. And think about this, and I'm going to speed up. We have the privilege, if we want to talk to the guy who made the universe. Just think of that. The universe. Wow. So when we pray, here's what happens. When I go pray, I don't have anything around me that I like. I have no one to talk to. There's no social media. There's no meetings. There's no connections. There's no books to read. There's no TV. There's just me and God, and there is silence. And we pray. We don't like silence. Very long. I gotta go eat lunch. And when you get silent, God strips away all the stuff you hang on to, and He makes you take a good hard look at you, and you don't like what you see. And that's why we'll pray. Louisa? Amen. We got 5 minutes. In conclusion, you're saying, thank God. Let me get this out. You know, people tell me all the time, Charles, I got stuff that's been around. I know. But hear me out. Let me talk to you about you. Talk about me. This is addiction. You and me. Now you do know this. You are a 3-part being. Right? Body, soul, spirit. There is nothing else in this world like that. We are the only creation in the world like this. The theological word is trichotomy. Nothing else in this world is trichotomy. This is made in the image of God. A tree, I mean, everything else in the world either has one or two, but they don't have three. A tree only has a body. Go outside and look at it. You'll see it. That's a body. A tree doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have a spirit. It's this two complicated. Okay? Your dog and cat only has a body and a soul. They do not have a spirit. But they do have a body and a soul. My dog has emotions. So does yours. My dog's name is Bernard. And he's got some St. Bernard in him. He loves us, but he is protective. His teeth will show, and it's on, bud. But when I drive up, he comes out wagging that tail. Runs over to me. And I mean, he hops up. That's how the emotion. What is soul? Your soul is your mind, your will, your emotion. Bernard will run up. Then I see Bernard get mad. I said, and that tail that was wagging, he then takes that tail and he tucks it. Because animals have a body and a soul. Your cow has a body and a soul. However, we have a body, soul, spirit. Now, what I mean by that is this. One of these three controls you. So I'm asking you this morning, which one controls you? Because one of these three controls you today. Does your body control you, your soul, or your spirit? Now you want to say your spirit. It's not controlling you. Sounds good. And whatever one controls wins. Are you with me? Okay, listen to this. This is addictions. If the body controls me, it dominates the soul and the spirit. If the soul controls me, it dominates the body and the spirit, vice versa. For example, let's say when it comes to my body. My body tells me whether I am hungry, whether I'm sleepy, whether I have pain. This morning, 2:30 in the morning, I got up, had to use the bathroom. I went and used the bathroom. I came back and I laid down and I thought, ooh, that don't feel right. The old Charles Moses would have laid over the bed and said, I'll be all right. But the new Charles Moses said, we're going to the hospital. And at 2:30 in the morning, I went to Randolph Hospital. I saw Dr. Osborne. I said, Doc, man, you touched this, and it like kills me. And he said, I think you got diverticulitis. I said, that's right. I gave you some medicine. I said, I got to get ready to preach. But since 2:30, because my body told me, hey, something's wrong. It used to bother me when I used to hear preachers preach rolled up, and they preach against smoking. Bless God, if you're a smoker right now, bless God, you need to put them cigarettes out in the name of Jesus. If you're dipping snuff or dipping red man or whatever you're dipping at all, you may go to heaven. but you got to go to hell to spit. So keep that in mind. And then as he was preaching that, he had a belly this big. And I'm thinking, how can you be preaching against smoking and you got a belly the size of Texas? So I'm asking you, myself included, if I have a problem with weight, what controls me? What controls me? You want to say spirit, don't you? But you don't. But you don't. You're addicted up here. Kind of hurts, don't it? Whatever controls you, God gets his will too. All right. When it comes to my soul, that's my mind. Now, if my emotions take over, and I become upset and fear and anxiety and worry and all this other kind of stuff, if I get a bad temper, I worry a lot, what controls you? There's something. What happened? I heard this because of strength. The doctor said, I've told you this, you see a pit bull outside, your brain releases adrenaline and cortisol. And your body, for a minute, is a lean, fighting, run, thinking machine. And I get it wrong. Because the brain has released adrenaline and cortisol. But he said, Charles, if you worry a lot, if you have fears in your life, if you have bitterness, if you have all this kind of stress in your life, without your approval, your brain releases that stuff 24 hours a day. And it destroys your body. Scripture, do you have one? Proverbs, throw it up, please. But a sound mind makes for a what? But runaway emotions. What's runaway emotions? Fear, anxiety, worry, bitterness, fits of rage. Self-esteem low corrodes the bones. Corrodes the bones means it affects every organ, every vein, every capillary in your body. Your brain will destroy your body. That's why we have, yes. Are you with me? Last thing. Now, if your spirit's in charge, and it controls both of these things, that's why Paul said in Romans 7, I'm coming back now, 25 minutes later, Romans 7, the things I want to do, I don't do, the things I hate, I do. I wish I wasn't addicted to this food. I wish I wasn't addicted to this alcohol. I wish I wasn't addicted to drugs. I wish I wasn't addicted to fear. The things I want to do, I don't do. The things I hate, I do. I wish I could stop this stuff. I can't stop it. You come to Romans 8. Romans 8 says, but thanks be to God. There's now no condemnation, those in Christ Jesus. And in Romans 7, depending upon the translation of the Bible you have, the words I, me, and my is used 46 times. But in Romans chapter 8, it's never mentioned. You know what's mentioned in Romans chapter 8? The Holy Spirit of God. What's that tell you? You can't conquer fear. You can't conquer depression. You can't conquer food. You can't conquer drugs. You can't conquer alcohol. You try and try and try. You've been trying now and you're still overweight. You've been trying now and you're still worried. You've been trying now and you still get drunk. And you know why? Because you can't do it. That's what it says in Isaiah 44. There's an idol in your hand. You can't do it. But who can? God. And so you allow the spirit man to rule in you, and if the spirit rules in you, it affects the other two. And you walk around in freedom of life. Whoa. Well, how do I get the Spirit to rule in my life? Addiction. I'm addicted. You perverse and wicked generation. You unbelieving and perverse generation. You're not connected to me, and you're too connected to this world. So what do? I get connected to God and disconnected from this world, and He sets me free. Look for anything. Isn't it incredible? Does that make sense? That's still the introduction of my sermon. I'll finish it next week to show you how we can do this. All right? Let's all stand. Y'all ready? What time? What time?